Now junior 2, open your booklet on page 111. Here write the fraction in word that represents the shaded part. Okay, I solved this question before, but we're gonna solve it together. Here he wanted in words, so you should write if it's half or third or quarter. Okay, so here this one is 1/2, so we write half. Here we have 1 2 3 4 4, we write it down, and it's one only shaded, so it's 1/4, so we're gonna write fourth or quarter. Okay, here it's 1/3. Yes, 1 2 3, so write 3 down, and we shade just one, so it's third. Here we have 1 2 3 4, and we shade just one, so it's 1/4, so it's called quarter. Here we have just 2 parts, and we shade just one, so it's 1/2, so it's half. Okay, now turn your booklet on page 111. Here we have this one, it's called one, it's a whole, it's one like one pizza, it's one whole. But if I cut it down to 2 equal parts, it's called 1/2, it's half. What about if I cut it to 3 equal parts? So just one part called 1/3, it's a third. What about if I take just 2 parts of these 3? Yes, I take just 2 parts, one for you and one for me. Okay, so we take just 2 parts. Okay, so it's a 2/3. 3 is the total parts, 1 2 3. How many parts we take it? How many we shade it? We shade 2 parts, so we write 2 in numerator, so 2/3. Here junior 2, we have this one whole. Okay, so 1 2 3 4, so write 4 down, so we take just 1, so it's 1/4, it's 1/4, it's a quarter, so we write 1/4. What about if we take just 2? Yes, this one and this one, we shade 2 parts. What about if we shade 2 parts? So we take 2 parts, so write 2 in numerator and 4 in denominator. Okay, what about if we take 3 parts? 3 parts, so write 3 up and 4 down. What about if we take these 4 parts? We take just total, so 1 2 3 4, so it's 4/4. Here we have these 4 cheeses. Yes, so now junior 2, here it's 4. Okay, what about if I take one of these 4? How we can write it at the fraction? We write it 1/4. 4 is the total, I write it down in denominator, and I take just 1. Okay, so I write it up, so it's 1/4. Yes, it's not for eating. Okay, what about if I take 2 boards, 2 cheese, 2 slices? So I take how many from 4? I take 2, so write 2 up, so it's a 2/4. What about if I take another 1 slice? So now we take how many parts from 4? We take 3, so it's a 3/4. What about if I take another and the last slice? So it's 4 slice and I take 4, so it's 4/4. Okay, so I take now the whole. Okay, so junior 2, you remember this 3 circles? Here when I talk about this, yes, it's called, this part it's called half, and this part it's called half. So in the whole I have how many halves? 1 over 2, and this one is 1 over 2. So I have how many halves? 1, 2. This one half and this one half. So in a whole I have 2 halves. I have 2 halves. In one whole I have 2 halves. Okay. And here, in one whole I have how many thirds? Let's count how many thirds we have here. 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 thirds. 3 thirds. So in one whole, one cake, if we cut it down to 3 equal parts, so I have 3 thirds. I have 3 thirds. If I cut it down to 2 halves, so I have 2 halves. So one whole, it's equal 2 halves. And if we cut it to thirds, so it's called 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So it's 3 thirds. Okay, what about if I cut it to 4 equal parts? So this one is called 1 over 4, and this 1 over 4, so quarter and quarter, and here this 1 over 4, another quarter, and this 1 over 4, another quarter. So how many quarters we have here? How many fourths? 1, 2, 3, 4. So one whole, okay, equal how many fourths? How many quarter? 4. So in a whole, okay, in a whole, one whole, here we have 2 halves. We have 2 halves. And we have how many thirds? Yes, we have 3 thirds. We have 3 thirds in one whole. We have 3 thirds. 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 thirds. And we have how many quarters? Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 quarters. 4 quarters. 4 quarters. So we have 2 halves. Here we have 2 halves. 2 halves in a whole. And we have 3 thirds. And we have 4 fourths. Now, Junior 2, open your booklets on page 113. So here, if I have one whole, so one whole have how many halves? Yes, 2 halves. 1 over 2 plus 1 over 2. So one whole have how many thirds? 3 thirds. 1 over 3 plus 1 over 3 plus 1 over 3. Okay, so one whole equal how many quarters? Like this one, 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4. So we have 4 fourths. So here, Junior 2, complete. How many halves are there in one whole? In one whole. One whole have how many halves? 2 halves. So we have 2 halves. Okay? So here, how many thirds are there in one whole? How many thirds? Yes, 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 thirds. Okay. How many quarter are there in one whole? How many quarter? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have how many in one whole? How many quarter? We have 4 quarters. Okay. Now open your booklet on page 114. Choose the correct fraction. Okay. So here we have here how many parts? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 parts. How many shaded parts? 2. So it's 2 over 4. So choose 2 over 4. Here, how many parts? We want to write it as a fraction. 1, 2, 3. So write the total down. And how many shaded? 2. So it's 2 over 3. Search about 2 over 3. This one. Here, we have how many parts? 2 parts. We take just one. Shade just one. So it's 1 over 2. It's half. So circle half. Here we have 1, 2, 3. So write 3 down. 3. Yes. And we shade how many? We shade also 3. 1, 2, 3. So it's 3 over 3. So circle 3 over 3. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So write 4 down. How many shaded part? Just 1. So it's 1 over 4. It's a quarter. So circle here quarter. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 3 parts, and we shade just one, so it's 1/3 to third. So circle here, third. Okay.